What's up guys, welcome back to our series of Star Wars reviews. My name is Tom and that's Ali.
Hi.
And we're doing Star Wars once a month or twice a month, depending on, because I messed up. Yeah, so this is the Attack of the Clones review. We have done the Phantom Menace already, go and check that out. It's in its own playlist. So, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Possibly the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. Fun fact, Attack of the Clones is actually the first Star Wars movie I ever saw.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
No.
Attack of the Clones, I was at a birthday party and when it came out.
Oh, so you guys all went to see it?
So we went to see it. It was from one of my friend's birthday parties. And I remember going to see it, not knowing what the hell was going on, because I had no idea. And I think I'd come home and I think Dad knew what we were going to see, and so then that's when I was introduced to the original trilogy.
Awesome.
And the Phantom Menace. So...
Wait, so what a child do you think of Attack of the Clones?
I remember sitting there watching it, and I remember sitting there and not knowing... You know when Yoda walks in at the end to fight Dooku, and all you see is the shadow at first, you don't actually see who it is, and I remember sitting there thinking it was going to be some terrifying, like, monster that was going to jump out or something, like something scary, and it ended up being Yoda, and I was like, oh, that's not scary. I remember getting quite scared, just seeing the shadow and just hearing something and, you know, but, yeah, so Attack of the Clones was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw, yeah. Wow. So let's start with the possibly the shortest part of this video, what we liked about Attack of the Clones.
Alright.
I'll let you start if you want to, while I think of things that I liked. Because there's not much.
There is one thing that I know you liked, but I'm not going to repeat it just because I want to hear you say it.
Alright.
But, okay, so the arena scene was kind of cool. Like, it was pretty fun. So you saw everybody just fighting each other, like, that's kind of what you always wanted to see in Star Wars, and that delivered in that scene. And that time he lost his hand was pretty cool too.
What, Anakin?
Yeah.
I do like Mace Windu cutting off Jango's head.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, yeah. Oh, and the Across the Stars theme for Anakin and Padme, beautiful music, even if I think the actors had
I hate the scene that it was used with, but
yeah,
I like the music, yeah. Yes. I like Obi-Wan in this movie, I really do, because he's, you know, Obi-Wan just is, throughout the prequels, he's so sarcastic and so dry humour. They're getting chained up to the poles that, actually, Master, we decided we were going to come and rescue you. Good job. The thing I do like about Attack of the Clones is Watto.
Yes. Watto.
Is that what you were thinking I was going to say?
I actually thought you were going to say Natalie Portman's midriff.
Yes, that too. Annie, little Annie, it is you, Annie. I sold your mother to Lars. His name was Lars. Yeah, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. I also like the Jango Fett and Obi-Wan showdown on Kamino.
That's a really great looking scene.
It's a great scene. The problem is, like, you know, Obi-Wan gets pretty much blown up in that scene. You see him just flying, you know, the ship shooting at him and just flying around. And, you know, nothing wrong with him. There's no blood, there's no bruising, the cloak isn't ripped. That's
my favourite thing, because you see that a lot in movies, like, or when someone in the previous scene they jumped into the water but then they come out and they're all dry. Yeah. That's how I feel whenever I see stuff like that. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, man.
Jango Fett, he's got him on the grappling hook kind of thing. Oh, not good. I like, you know, in this how they tried to sort of, like, Anakin's turn slowly to the dark side. You know, when he kills the Sand People, that's possibly his best acted performance in the entire prequel trilogy. Is when he's killing the Sand People. The scene afterwards where he's telling Padme that he killed them, not so much. I killed them. I killed them all, and not just the men, but the women and the children too. They're like animals, and I slaughter them like animals.
Oh my god! Don't remind me that scene. It's painful. Like, but the thing about Attack of the Clones for me is that, so I saw that, I don't remember what age I was when I saw it. It would have been when
you were
it came
at a birthday party and you went to
Yeah, I saw it, and I think that was the first time I'd ever experienced disappointment in a movie.
You remember being disappointed by it?
I remember actually, okay, disappointment, I don't even think I, you know, knew that feeling yet. I was just like, I came out of that movie, I was like, that wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And it was just this crisis for me because I was like, but it was Star Wars. And I didn't know what to do.
So you'd love the original trilogy first?
Yeah, I was introduced, like, my mom big into it, my brother big into it. So I basically grew up on them. And then, you know, Phantom Menace, that stuff. And I was, I didn't think it was that good. And it bored me. I'd never been bored by a movie even before.
I think the problem with Attack of the Clones is probably that it wasn't, a bit like Phantom Menace, it wasn't necessary. You didn't need Attack of the Clones. And I think Phantom Menace is a better movie than Attack of the Clones. I think by far Attack of the Clones is the worst one.
It is.
Despite what we said at the beginning. But it is my least favourite. But at the same time, I can sit and watch Attack of the Clones and get some enjoyment out of it. The prequels, to me, they're not the worst thing in the world like a lot of people think. Like, they're not as bad as people make them out to be.
If people think that the prequels are the worst movies ever made, they haven't seen enough movies.
Yeah, I suggest you see more movies. Like, I love that whole Geonosis battle.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like Padme in this movie. I think she's better in this movie than in the other two. She has more to do in this movie, I think. I don't know if... I like the whole, like, Dooku's trying to assassinate her thing. But the Jedi Council really, going off what I said in the Phantom Menace review, they're dumb.
They're dumb, yeah.
You know, Dooku, you know, Count Dooku was once a Jedi. He could never assassinate anyone. It's not in his nature. Well, if he wasn't if he was a Jedi and he's no longer a Jedi, doesn't that mean that he's had a change of heart? So maybe now it is in his nature to do something like that? Like, come on, Mace Windu. Come on.
Pretty much.
You're Sam Jackson. I mean, for the love of... Yeah.
That's actually... You brought something interesting then. So, the bit where she's asleep and those little centipede things...
The worm-pooping robot.
Yeah, and you know what? I do remember vividly the first time I saw that, and that did frighten me a little bit, because I would have had that... That's just your big fear as a child, that something's going to come into your room and just, eat you or slither into your mouth and, like, kill you from the inside.
Yeah, that could have really turned into an Alien movie real quick. Yeah. It turns into a chest burster.
He comes in with the lightsaber and you're just like, that was a very close call, because you could have just killed her.
Okay.
Like, I know that...
I was watching a video, and I don't know whether it was CinemaSins or Screen Junkies, or I was watching a movie YouTube channel. I can't remember who it was. Someone had pointed out, you know when Obi-Wan, speaking of that scene, the robot poops the worm through the window, and Obi-Wan jumps out of the window and is riding, basically like holding onto it, and it's going through Coruscant. Now, think to either Jedi or Empire, where Yoda says Luke is too reckless, and Obi-Wan says, so was I, if you remember.
Oh yeah, that is good continuity.
It's a good little sort of, I don't know, I don't think it was intentional.
No.
But it does show, like, Obi-Wan was kind of reckless in Attack of the Clones, and even in Sith and Phantom Menace to an extent, Obi-Wan was kind of reckless. So
yeah, I never thought about that connection. You're right.
It's a good little. I didn't think about it until I'd seen that video and someone had pointed that out, and I was like, I actually like that. It makes that a bit more bearable for me. Yeah. The other thing, when Anakin jumps out of the, if you'll excuse me, and he jumps out of the thing, and then Obi-Wan goes, I hate it when he does that. And I was like, yeah, that was a funny moment. It was actually one of the few, good jokes, I think, throughout the prequels. But how many, I gotta think, how many times does Anakin do this? Are they just like in a ship and Anakin just jumps out?
Just because you mentioned it's one of the few jokes that works that you find in the prequels. And I think it's because it comes from the fact that you know the characters, you know how they interact, and you're just like, I get you, fam.
I like the...
It's the character interactions that make it.
Yeah, and look, Hayden Christensen's acting is not the best.
No.
But him and Ewan McGregor work together. And not even as characters, just as actors. They work together really well, and I actually really like that.
You can see behind the scenes that they get along really well.
They get along, and Ewan says, I think in one of the behind the scenes things, I think of him like a little brother.
Aww.
And yeah, it's actually really good. It's like, that's Obi-Wan would say that too. You were my brother, Anakin. Anyway, Obi-Wan did say that. I just wish that, Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen had better chemistry.
Yeah.
Granted, I think they had better chemistry than Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth in Thor. What's really, I think, weird, kind of, is that I know, like, it's just kind of weird that, like, she's in these really tight outfits in Attack of the Clones. I don't know whether, they They were. I don't know whether George was trying to make her look more revealing so that Anakin would fall in love with her more easily. I don't know what the thinking was behind. Put her in a tight corset. You know, like
action figures.
Posters. Sex dolls. Yeah.
Carrie Fisher owned a sex doll
of Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. I was just like, oh, that's the most Carrie Fisher thing you've ever done, Carrie Fisher.
Speaking of jokes that worked in Attack of the Clones, you want to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. Every time I laugh at that. Every single time. I like the parallels to the original, you know, the cantina.
Yeah.
The asteroid field chase is an homage to Empire. Also, it's a continuity error because 3PO says, "So the odds of surviving an asteroid field are approximately 3,720 to 1." Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the number, 3,720 to 1. That's the number he uses. But Obi-Wan and Jango Fett can somehow do it.
Yeah, I think someone floated the idea that piloting a ship is not actually that hard.
I can see why Obi-Wan could survive the asteroid field because he's a magic space wizard. But Jango Fett, I don't know.
It's the rule of cool, just the rule of cool.
Yeah, it is, but I also think it does take away a little bit from Han doing it because the stakes aren't there because you know that someone's already done that 20 years earlier. Like if Obi-Wan was Han Solo's father, okay, then maybe, you know, he's got that in him and like, do you know what I mean? Like it makes a bit more sense then, but it just, I don't know. Yeah. What do you think about Flippy Jumpy Yoda?
I hate it. I'm sorry, but it just, okay. Again, when like a 9-year-old thinks that it's stupid, it's probably stupid. I
don't hate it.
I just don't like how it looks. I don't find it fun. It's not cool.
I don't mind him jumping around. I don't mind him using a lightsaber because
him using a lightsaber makes sense.
Him using a lightsaber, he has a lightsaber. He doesn't use it very often, but when he does, it's to fight an evil.
When he was using the Force stuff, that was really cool. But it was specifically when he was jumping around doing the. I
like the setup for that battle though between Yoda and Dooku.
Yes, I do as well actually.
And I love that line. You know, this is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
Oh my god, that was so badass. I love Christopher Lee.
I love that line. And I love and Yoda's lines. I think in all the prequels are pretty good. Yoda's line of, you know, powerful you have become, Dooku. The dark side I sense in you.
The thing about that though is George Lucas so doubles down on that weird on the talking that he does that you're just like, okay, calm down.
I don't know.
Maybe it's probably more because he just talks more in the prequels than he ever did in the originals. But eventually you're just like, it's one line, just say it like.
I'm not like that kind of thing, but I get annoyed when people try and imitate Yoda and then they take it way too far.
Oh yes.
I mean, Anakin and Padme, it just would have been better if they had more chemistry.
Yeah, I think especially because that whole relationship is the catalyst for everything awesome that happens later. Like you need to have that emotional chemistry and you need to have the audience invest in it. So that they care what happens to her and what's going to happen to Luke and Leia and everything. If that doesn't work, you've kind of.
I mean, this is this is like Luke Skywalker's mother, right? Like, you know.
I mean, it's nice that they at least got an actress where you're kind of like, yeah, you could I feel like she could birth Leia. That makes sense. Like, there's enough physical resemblance that you're like.
And I feel like character-wise, she's more like Leia in Attack of the Clones than she is like Leia in anything else.
Oh,
because in Attack of the Clones, you see the toughness of Padme, I guess. And everyone talks about, you know, Star Wars having strong female characters. They mention Leia, and then the second one they always go to now is Rey. No one talks about Padme being a strong female character in Star Wars, and I think she is.
Well, she does a lot of really strong stuff, and actually Natalie Portman, you know, you can tell when she's not interested in something.
Yeah.
But she's a very smart person, and and she's very incisive.
Yeah.
And she had an interview where she talked about strong female characters, and she was just like, it's not actually about what they do, or you know, it's not about them shooting a weapon or anything like that. They have to just be well written. You have to believe they have to have depth. They can't just be there to be like sex objects or drop a funny one-liner. They need to have depth.
Yes.
And to me, that's what strong female character is, and that's actually why I would put Padme there, but I maybe wouldn't put Rey there yet, because
Yeah, but that's a matter of
opinion. But
no, I mean like purpose. Like everyone's. I don't want to get into Force Awakens talk at the moment, but everyone's crapping on Rey being a Mary Sue in Force Awakens. I was like, yeah, but you haven't seen the continuation of her journey yet.
Yeah.
Speaking on the strong female characters, though, they're sort of pushing that at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, it's important, sure. But I just think, just focus on making strong characters
in
general. Take the gender out of it. Like, okay, I'll give you an example, right? I'm watching, like, The Edge of 17, if you've seen that movie. It's a fantastic movie, right? I'm not a chick in high school, but I'm watching that going, that was me in high school. Like, it's me.
Yeah.
Like, the movie gets me, and
that's what good writing is.
Exactly. It's like, I relate to that character, even though that's a chick.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, like, I don't know, just the character needs to have depth. They need to be, you have to understand why they're doing things, like, and they shouldn't exist for another person.
Yeah.
Ever. And that's why I think I would put Padme in the strong female character one, just for that alone, because you feel like she does something, even minor things. You feel like she has a presence outside of when she's with Anakin. And that's what I actually like about how George Lucas writes her, which is probably one of the very few things I'm going to say.
He did some really good things, writing-wise, in these prequels.
Wasn't the dialogue, but...
Wasn't the dialogue, necessarily. But there is some good dialogue in the prequels. There's some. I think I pretty much quoted everything I can think of. What I like what they started with, Cypher Diaz ordered this clone army 10 years ago and the Jedi Council didn't know about it. Then they just kind of abandoned that storyline completely. Like, they started and it was like, oh, this could be a really cool, like, political thriller, like, intrigue kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's like, Obi-Wan's uncovered this secret of this old Jedi Master who ordered this. And then basically turns into, let's show you this clone army, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, this is great, and then they clones end up helping them, like, which is fine, but just don't drop that, because it was never addressed again.
Yeah. I have a weird thing, though, where at the end, Yoda's just looking over, surveying all these people, like all the clones, he's just like, begun, the Clone Wars have. I'm just like, you've already named it, like, this is the worst, this is such shoehorning right now.
I didn't mind that line, but did you notice that it didn't sound like Frank Oz? To me, that join the dark side, Dooku has.
Oh god.
That doesn't sound like Frank Oz voicing it, and it probably was, because no one else was credited.
Yeah, it probably was, but that's the exact line that I'm talking about when I think that he doubled down way too much on how Yoda speaks. Yeah. That's the exact line I was trying to think of.
I do like the, begun the Clone War has, and I like then you see bum 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 bum.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. It's just he shoehorns that in so badly, and I'm like,
I'm gonna have to pay for that.
People know they're clones. There's going to be you don't have to telegraph it like that. We're not stupid.
And I think what makes Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith better or mean more is if you watch the Clone Wars animated series.
Yes, I can agree with that.
It smooths it out a little bit more.
And also, it's actually a pretty good series. Like
it is. It's really good.
It might take you a while to get past the animation because it is weird and unique, but it's a good series. And I just said that Dooku's lightsaber looks like a dildo. That handle.
Yeah. I always called it the limp dick lightsaber because it just, So I was going to bring up something that Dave Filoni actually brought up on a panel, and he said he realized when working on Clone Wars and talking to George Lucas that Palpatine had to have had Count Dooku already under his sort of, wing during the Phantom Menace while Maul was still the apprentice.
Well, yeah.
Because Dooku, in order to put the things in place that he does in Attack of the Clones, had to be working with Palpatine already during the time of the Phantom Menace.
So it's possible that Palpatine was just a lying little shit.
I don't know whether he had two apprentices during.
Or maybe he was actually planning on like getting rid of Maul anyway.
I think because the Sith are built about cannibalizing each other pretty much, and I think he was looking at Dooku, like eventually he was going to pit Dooku and Maul up if Obi-Wan didn't kill Maul. But I do think because the Emperor has foreseen it, I think he knew that Obi-Wan was going to kill Maul. But anyway.
What is the plot of Attack of the Clones?
I don't know. I tell you what the plot of Attack of the Clones is. Anakin discovers how much he hates sand. And he chops up a pear and then forces it over to Padme. Like, uses the... Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, look, if I could do that, I would use the Force and everything. I'd be like, toilet paper. Whoosh. Anyway.
That would be really useful.
What is the plot of Attack of the... I don't know. Look. Like I said before, Attack of the Clones isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't hate it. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, like, you know, the prequels are the worst thing ever. But Attack of the Clones is my least favourite Star Wars movie by far.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes the least sense of all of them by far. Everyone always goes to Phantom Menace when they talk about their least favourite Star Wars movie, and I actually really... I've grown to appreciate Phantom Menace more and more. Attack of the Clones...
It's just not very good.
It's not, and I feel like it's really, you know, George Lucas could have picked it up a bit. And there are some things in, like, I could watch that arena scene over and over and get enjoyment out of it. I love that arena scene. This party's over, you know. But anyway, that's our review of Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Hopefully you've enjoyed this ramble review of Attack of the Clones, but I did, it was fun.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, subscribe, comment, and we will see you guys for Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.